right, can everyone hear me? I'd like to start by thanking the organizers so much. Thank you so much for hosting this event and for having me. All right. So today I want to talk about our vision for the space, a vision for more than 1,000 chains that are going to exist in the coming years. I think the reason why there's going to be 1,000 chains is simple. We already see there's more than 100 chains that people are actively using today, both in the layer 1 and the layer 2 space. But the main reason is that no single blockchain today can scale to support even a single real-world application. So the future is multi-chain, and big applications are each going to be using their own block space. Now, in a world with thousands of blockchains, we have a lot of fragmentation. And with Axelar, our working assumption has always been that a large fraction of all transactions are going to be cross-chain. If we look at how people use applications today on something like Ethereum mainnet, empirically, we've seen that 1 in every 4 transactions are across different applications. As a user, you'll go do a swap on Uniswap, then go on Aave, get a loan, then go and buy an NFT. So usually, in a world with thousands of chains, when big applications live on their own blockchains, these cross-application transactions are going to be cross-chain transactions, and this will lead to a situation where a large chunk, 25% of all the transactions, are going to be cross-chain. And given the prominence of cross-chain, we need to make the user experience very, very simple. And this is the problem we're solving with Axelar. Now, the first generation of interoperability solutions, some of you may be familiar with multi-chain, REN protocol from the early days. All of those were centralized solutions. And when you have a centralized solution, this allows an attacker to steal the private keys from the founder or whoever is holding them and steal billions of dollars, like it happened with the Ronin hack, the Harmony hack, and the multi-chain hack. Right? So the main problem with the first generation of solutions was that they were very centralized. The second piece is that they were not scalable. They all offer pairwise connectivity. So if you want to connect 1,000 chains, you would need hundreds of thousands of connections. The connectivity scales quadratically in the number of chains. So they're not well fit for scalability. And finally, the last problem with the first generation of solutions was that they were bridges. Bridging leads to very bad user experiences. The user has to change wallets, wait multiple minutes to bridge across chains, and do 4 or 5 different steps just to use an application on a new chain. Right? So bridges are not the solution. We need something beyond that. Now, let's see how Axelar, my project, solves some of those problems. On the security side, when we were launching, when we started building about 4 years ago, we took a good look at the solutions on the space, and we realized, as we said, they're all centralized. And the solution we came up with was to replace this centralized point of failure with a blockchain. So Axelar itself is a blockchain that connects blockchains. It's fully decentralized, secured by proof-of-stake security, and we have 75 active validators. So in order to steal funds from a cross-chain connection with Axelar, you would have to corrupt the majority of the biggest validators in the space. You get similar security model as the chains we connect. The second nice part is that Axelar offers this hub-and-spoke architecture. You want to connect your chain with 60 other chains that we have today. You create a single point of integration, and Axelar acts as a router that can forward your information to any other chain. Just to give you an example on why this is important, at Axelar, we do a lot of work on the real-world asset tokenization, and we work with a lot of financial institutions. Now, financial institutions, if they launch their own chain, they want to issue permission connections with many other chains. They usually want Arbitrum, ZK Sync, the Ethereum mainnet. And if they're going to do pairwise connections with 10 different chains, it's very expensive for them to maintain individual connections, and they increase the attack surface. But with Axelar, you create a single permission connection to the Axelar chain, and then through that, you can forward messages to every other chain that we have in the ecosystem. Right? So to recap, 75 active validators, they prevent the centralized attack vectors we've seen in the space, and hub and spoke architecture makes it very easy through a single point of integration to connect a new chain to the wider ecosystem. Now for the final point, the user experience. Axelar itself solves the bridging problem, but is not a bridge. Instead, it is a cross-chain messaging platform that allows developers to build seamless cross-chain user experiences. One analogy I like to use is that the same way that on a layer one like Avalanche or Ethereum mainnet, you can build applications like DEXs, money markets, NFT marketplaces, derivatives protocols. Axelar allows you to do the same things, but cross-chain. So you can build a cross-chain DEX, a cross-chain money market, cross-chain NFT marketplace, and really any application you can envision or imagine. So as a next step, I actually want to talk about some of these seamless cross-chain user experiences and some of the examples of things that have been built with Axelar. As the first use case, we have Prime Protocol. Prime Protocol is a cross-chain money market. What you see on the left side is that the user can have an asset like BTC on the Avalanche network. They issue a single transaction from their wallet to collateralize their Bitcoin. And through Prime Protocol, they can get a loan directly on their wallet on any other chain like Phantom. Right? So you can imagine that as a user, you will not have to bridge across different chains if you want to get a loan of a new asset. You can do that through a single click from your wallet. And this doesn't work just for EVM chains. It can work for Solana. It can work for Ripple, Sui, any kind of chains. Right? And you'll be able to access all of those chains and get loans with one click directly from your MetaMask wallet. The second use case I'd like to talk about is one of cross-chain governance. So at some point last year, Uniswap, which has instantiation of its application on 10 different chains, wanted to expand its governance process. But all of the governance happens on Ethereum mainnet, where the Uni token holders vote for decisions. And Uniswap picked two solutions only in the space, two cross-chain messaging solutions, Axelar and Wormhole, to pass those governance decisions to other chains. Right? So Uniswap has an instantiation of its chain, of its DEX on the Filecoin chain. And let's say they want to do a parameter upgrade that is voted for on Ethereum mainnet. The Uni holders vote on Ethereum, and through Axelar, they pass the result of the vote to Filecoin, and they do the governance upgrade or whatever they want. Right? So this allows developers to manage their applications from a single point without having to make their token holders vote on 10 different chains. As for the last piece I want to talk about, we have what we call this interchain token service that allows developers within 2 seconds to launch a token across 10 or 20 different chains. This is a no-code solution. You don't even need to be a developer. If you have a token, if you're in the audience and you have a token you want to take cross-chain, you can visit this portal and take your token cross-chain in a few minutes. I was supposed to have a YouTube video here that's for some reason not loading, but what's actually going to happen is you're going to select a number of chains, you're going to issue a transaction on the origin chain where your token lives, and after a few minutes, you're going to have a portal that allows you to take your token, move it seamlessly and with zero slippage across any of the 2 connected chains. To wrap up the talk, I want to talk a little bit about the cross-chain ecosystem that's built in around Axelar. Right? Just to recap, the same way that on any layer 1, you can build an ecosystem of applications, similar to what happened back in the DeFi summer. We saw some of the big primitives like Uniswap, Compound, Aave launching, and that inspired a lot of developers to compose with those applications, fork them, experiment, and led to a Cambrian explosion of applications in the Ethereum ecosystem. With Axelar, we're doing the same thing for cross-chain applications. And today, if we look at some of the biggest verticals like DeFi, we have some of the leaders like Lido, DYDX, Uniswap, already using Axelar for their cross-chain needs. Many big enterprises as well we have close partnerships with. They really appreciate the decentralization and the single point of integration that the Axelar Hub and Spoke architecture offers. Biggest wallets like MetaMask or Trust Wallet, if you go to do a cross-chain swap, they use this application called Squid, built on top of Axelar. And finally, a big focus for us in the coming year is going to be real-world asset tokenization. For real-world asset tokenization, these are heavily regulated companies that want to do things legitimately, and they really like, again, the decentralization of Axelar because they feel it's very compliant with regulations, and as the only decentralized cross-chain solution in the space, we have very deep partnerships with a lot of the real-world asset players. So thank you so much, everyone, for listening to my talk. If you're a developer or a community member, you want to learn more, please visit our Twitter or Telegram, or message me directly on Twitter under my name. I'm always open to answering questions and educating about Axelar. Thank you so much for having me. Thanks again to the organizers for an amazing event.